So the crypto markets may be down right now, but the amount of investment going on in this space is at all-time highs. So let's cut through the noise. Let's have a little look at Bitcoin, the price action going on right now, but let's also focus on where the money is flowing. If you enjoy the content in today's video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out the pinned comment down below. So unless you've been under a rock over the last 24 hours, you will know that crypto and Bitcoin have had a bit of a dip here. A little bit of a dip, nothing huge. We are yet to be blessed with a major 30% correction as of this moment in time, which we typically see in a bull market. 30% correction would take us down somewhere in the region of 46k from here. I don't think that's going to happen this time round, but on the way up, especially if you think back to January, February time, we had corrections in that region. So getting your stomach ready for what is to come is going to be very important preparation. So maybe just think of this as a bit of a warm up for the future gut check that you're going to get later in this market cycle. So as of right now, we're around $60,000, a few wicks just below to the high 58s. But if we look at this general structure, what I'm seeing right now on the daily here is we had a higher high up to around 65, 66k, higher low down to 58k, higher high again up to around 68k, and then this a higher low of around 59, 60,000 bucks. So higher than the previous low here. So in general, the structure to me doesn't look all that bad. Here from Will Clemente, we're down 10k off the highs, but the 4-hourly RSI is showing as oversold. The on-chain setup for the next few months, unscathed, macro environment, bullish as heck, and we could go as low as 50 to 53k and maintain a bullish market structure. He's saying that he's averaging in with buys here. So let's take a trend line on the 50k region down here. So he's suggesting we could still be bullish even if we go down to these levels and even a little bit lower. So still some wiggle room in here. We could potentially drop another 10% from here and still be bullish technically, as this is the kind of structure we do not want to break through. But in general, I think this is just a healthy part of a market correction. A lot of over-leveraged traders getting wiped out and hopefully resetting the sentiment within the industry. Over on the total 2, so this is the market cap of all the altcoins. What you can see here is a pretty much perfect retest of the previous all-time high. So previous all-time high for total 2, 1.4 trillion. We came up and tested this once again, but it proved to be resistance here on the 7th of September. And then we broke through this, absolutely smashing through here around the end of October, went all the way up to about 1.7 trillion. And now we're coming back here to retest this line as a support. So a pretty bullish structure in my humble opinion. So one of the lead analysts over at Glassnode, Checkmate here on Twitter, we're at 60k and people are scared. This is bullish, and I'd have to tend to agree. We're seeing the amount of fear and greed in the market start to take a nice little tick down here to a rating of 52. Previously, we had extreme greed all the way up to 78 last month. Yesterday was greed at 71, and now we're back down to 52. A nice, healthy reset. And the more frequent that this actually occurs, the longer this bull market will go on for. So all good stuff with me. Now let's have a little look at some of the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt within the market right now. The Mt. Gox rehabilitation plan is now final and binding. So according to a Tuesday announcement from Mt. Gox trustee Kobayashi, the rehabilitation plan, originally filed in the Tokyo District Court in February, is now final and binding. And essentially it says here, details of the specific timing, procedures, and amount of repayments to the creditors, i.e. the investors who lost their Bitcoins, will be made in accordance with the approved plan. Though this is still unclear whether the payments will be made in Bitcoin or a fiat currency, the announcement said creditors may be required to register their bank account details. So just the other day over on James's channel, Invest Answers, he was talking about this, the Mt. Gox saga. So if you don't know anything about this, previously back in 2014, there was a major exchange. I think it was the actual only exchange trading crypto at that moment in time, and it was called Mt. Gox. Previously, it was like a trading card exchange, but they upgraded to a crypto exchange, but essentially they were highly negligible with investors' funds. Anyway, long story short, 850,000 Bitcoins went missing. However, more recently, 200,000 of these Bitcoins have since been found. And so now those who were owed, the creditors, these investors, probably market makers and more, are now due a bit of a refund here, and 141,000 Bitcoins with the Mt. Gox trustee Kobayashi could be distributed on November the 20th. Now, this story covered by James at Invest Answers was subsequent to this article, which makes me think that a final date has not yet been set. So that November 20th date could well be extended far beyond this. We still don't know. So this is just breaking news, to be honest, and there's a lot of uncertainty around that final date and when exactly the reimbursements could be made. Of course, if 140,000 Bitcoins make their way to the market, this would suppress the price and we would see most likely a dip. But what we're seeing right now is the news headlines driving the market here, and we're seeing an unprecedented amount of shorts in the market, and thus we are looking a little bit bearish. But typically what we see is that the news media spins up these stories and drops them at the precise moment where we take a dip. If you have a long-term time horizon in your investment thesis, none of this really should worry you, but there could be buy the dip opportunities. If on November 20th, a lot of coins do make their way to investors, they're probably going to want to cash some of those out. So worth bearing in mind, but I would not be panic selling at all in moments like this, and we could see a resumption in the bull market within a matter of hours, if not days. So let's have a look at some more bullish tweets here. One from Kaleo, one of the top traders I follow on Twitter. His narrative hasn't changed. A little bit of noisy chop at the top of a range is insignificant. He's uber bullish until we hit around 150K. And then the question has to be posed, are we living a simulation right now? Because this is the chart from 2017. And this is from Tech Dev. He posted this, suggesting we're like 5 to 7 days behind 2017 in terms of the dates here, as we've pretty much been nailing these over the past few months. And so what we saw in 2017 was on November the 12th, we took this dip down. The RSI down here also broke the yellow trend line and spiked the bottom of this range down here, 42.7. And then if we go over to 2021 here, I'll just pull that out so I'm not in the way. You can see pretty much to the day, we've dropped down November 17th. On the RSI, we've broken through that trend line back to 42.7 effectively. And it looks like we're literally living through a copy-paste scenario right now. So only the following days and weeks will confirm this for us, but this is eerily spooky. And if we do go ahead over the next few weeks and start smashing through some big numbers here, well, then we could be on track for Plan B's call of around 90K for the end of November. We're going to have to watch this, grab your popcorn, sit back and enjoy and see where this all plays out. But in the meantime, log off Twitter, don't take in too much social media as it's all very negative right now. And this just shows you the human emotion in this market. We flip from highly greedy to fearful within just days. So adjust yourselves accordingly. Now over to this. So the crypto gaming ecosystem. This sector of the market has been performing exceptionally well, and it is not showing a real sign of slowdown. Even throughout this dip, some of my best performers in my portfolio have been gaming cryptos. I've even had a few going up over the last 24 hours. Whilst the rest of your portfolio is down, it shows you quite starkly where you should probably be investing your money, as some of my altcoins are down like 20-30%, but then some of these gaming plays are actually up. And as you can see, there's a nice spattering of green and some big green numbers here for the likes of Gala, Wax, Yield Guild Games, and more. So the total gaming crypto market cap, $25.7 billion, less than the total market cap of Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. So this leads me to believe that this is a highly undervalued market sector. Now, interestingly enough, I do have for you a new upcoming game. I'm going to do a video on it tomorrow. The token is not yet released, the game is not yet fully finished, but it does look epic, so make sure you're subscribed, turn the bell notification on for that coming tomorrow, as you're going to probably want to get the scoop on that and learn how you can get yourself in with a chance of a whitelist spot. So overall, this landscape is showing me that this is an undervalued sector of the market. For a whole category to have less market cap than the likes of Doge and SHIB is kind of ridiculous. And what we're seeing right now is heavy investment into this sector. So whilst there's a lot of noise in the market right now, the good news headlines do not stop rolling in for blockchain games. And within this, you can just put it under the category of Metaverse. So Forte have raised $725 million for more blockchain game investments. And some of these numbers are really hard to get your head around because the figures are just so large now, but just try and take this into perspective. The total investments in 2020 into crypto gaming was just $72 million. There was not a huge appetite for this. Axie Infinity over this summer have proved a major point that gaming is going to be massively disrupted by the blockchain, play to earn, NFTs. People want that ownership. And so in 2021, from just 72 million last year being invested, we're now up to $3.6 billion. This is greater than the GDP of some small nations out there. And this is a ton of money entering this space in a very short period of time. And you can see from the list here, the significant companies by investment raised. So Forte, we're going to jump into in a second because I had to do some research as to who they were. You can see Sorare here. So Sorare is kind of focused on the football or soccer, if you're American, industry in terms of player trading cards and kind of sponsorships with different football teams. They raised $783 million. Kind of shows you exactly where big money thinks this is all going. And this trend is just patently obvious to see at this point. Dapper Labs, over $600 million. Animoca raised over 220. Sky Mavis, who are Axie Infinity, 161, and so on and so forth. These numbers are absolutely insane. If we just look at the amount raised by Forte here, during this year, $900 million. So even if they were in this category here with top gaming coins, if they were their own gaming coin with that raise, the market cap would be 900 mil. That would put it in 6th place down here in terms of this overall industry. So raising in the ballpark region of $1 billion in a market with just a $26 billion cap shows you that there's a lot of upside left in this. These guys aren't putting their money in to make a 1 or 2x here. They're expecting huge returns. And this just goes to show the size of this market. The gaming economy is absolutely massive and it's about to be blockbustered by blockchain. Soon it will seem archaic to go ahead and be buying games from studios, paying them to play their game. No, we're going to see this flipped on its head and people will want to make revenue in the games and own their own items. So this is really clear, and you can see that the amount of investment here is no small amount and shows significant mindshare coming into this industry. You can see from the investor list here the likes of Softbank, Galaxy Digital, Animoca, Andreessen Horowitz, and more. So let's jump into this. Who the hell are Forte? Well, Forte is pretty much a platform from which games can plug and play with. Now, they've had a lot of investment from names like Animoca, but also from the likes of Warner Music Group. The big boys are entering the space here, and even Razer. These are big time in the gaming industry and media at large. We're also seeing the investment arms of Cosmos, Polygon, and Solana also putting their money into Forte here. So this was the news article that caught my attention today. Forte closes an additional $725 million in funding to extend its lead in building a compliant, interoperable blockchain gaming platform. So this is published in Business Wire, and as you will see up here, a Berkshire Hathaway company. So you can just see this is where you follow the money. This is where all the smart money is heading right now in a big way. And it feels like they're kind of reallocating their portfolios and maybe taking chunks of money from elsewhere and chucking it over into this blockchain gaming metaverse space. So believe you me, a lot of big eyes will have seen this article. Forte's platform allows game publishers to easily integrate blockchain tech into their games, enabling features such as seamless embedded token wallets, NFTs, minting and selling, payment rails, and other services built specifically for blockchain token economies, and the management of digital and virtual assets. In blockchain-enabled games, players can truly own goods rather than making pure entertainment expenditures. I'll leave this article in the description down below, but if you go into this, you can see what they're building is a fully compliant and regulated ecosystem for current games to come and plug and play here. So regulated activity including money transmittal, anti-money laundering, tax compliance, and IP protection in order to protect both players and publishers' businesses and intellectual properties. This is them creating this platform that's going to allow anyone to come and plug and play. This is essentially the plumbing of the industry being built out with $1 billion worth of investment here. So for many gaming companies, especially in the US, they have kind of a worry that regulators, the SEC and others will come down hard on them because they may be not able to keep as compliant a structure as is required by law. And these game developers don't want to end up in prison. And so they're going to have to utilize key infrastructure that ensures they are staying compliant. They are following AML and KYC rules. So this looks very clear to me that Forte are going to be standing here, putting a flag in the ground and saying, look, work with us. This is how you ensure that you stay compliant and you build out your blockchain game with us as the backers. Now, this wasn't all rosy when I was reading into it, because it seems to suggest that these guys would be kind of like market makers in a way and would significantly invest into all of these games. No shock there. But it does make me think that they're going to be buying up all the land, the NFTs, the in-game assets, etc., which maybe won't make this the most fair of industries. However, that being said, it's clear to see that the big money is coming in here in a big way, and you need to be aware of these kind of movers and shakers in the market. So the key message here is to follow the metaverse money. This is seeing the biggest inflows of spending from big VCs in the whole of the industry right now. They're not going into DeFi, they're going into gaming. So this is where we're going to see those outsized returns, and this is where we should be focusing our attention to make those outsized gains. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel as I try and research the best up and coming gaming projects and bring them to you guys, as I think this is where we see the biggest ROI. So I hope you enjoyed the content. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop me a comment down below, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.